Type in M2.
I also had this on my list.
You see, no, go to this last one. We just sold this M2 comp for 54. How is this happening? The M2 comps are still bringing all the money. You know, this is a 6-year-old car. And you know what? You know what really surprised? This car sold for $54,000 with miles, not 0 miles, but not like.
But low, yeah.
They're low.
17.7.
A little couple of mods, still sold for 54. What was sticker on this? It wasn't that much higher than that.
I don't know that we have it.
No build sheet. But yeah, no, I couldn't.
Go back now. Just type in M2 again and then sort by lowest price.
Yep.
There, you can buy regular M2s. Admittedly, most of these are autos, but you can buy regular M2s or this AutoZam for $27,000, $30,000. That's it. But the comps, the market has really decided that the comps are like really, really, really desirable cars, which, by the way, I agree with.
Especially unmodified sticks.
Although that one had mods.
But like relatively unmodified sticks.
I'm really surprised by this because what we all talked about was that the 1M was the car and it was always going to retain value, and it has, and it does. We sold one of those today too. But the market seems to think that the M2 comp is as good, and I agree. I think that one of the drawbacks of the 1M is that the M2 comp exists. It's like a better, tighter, even more impressive car, and it's interesting for me to see that there are these M2 comps that are still pulling money after all this.
The benefit of the 1M is that it has substantially lower production.
It does, but if you're a driver and you want a really good car, this is a really good car. And to be honest, it's better than the 1M to drive. It just is.
Well, sure, the 1M is more special, but it is better.
But the point is, I think the market is, one thing I'm very curious about is how the market will view the CS over the years.
I agree.
I wouldn't be surprised if the CS ends up getting valued higher than the 1M, even though it's not a 1M, and even though there was a base car. Like we just sold this one for 68.
Which is the tip one, not
which is a tip. I bet the CS is the market really, really, really falls in love with the CS more than the 1M, which I never thought. I always thought the 1M, because of its low production numbers, would be the dream one. I bet that this one emerges. The market seems to really like nice M2s.
The end of a generation is always special.
But the thing about the 1M was they only made this number and it was all the 1Ms, right? There was no CS, there was no comp, there was no long production.
Yeah, but the thing about this one is it got an actual M engine and it got like all of the, it's a more bona fide M car than the M2.
And this particular one was a really special.
Sold the 1M today for almost the same as that M2 comp.
Yeah. Look at that. 52. But they certainly.
1M is still bringing more money for sure. There's no question about it. And the market likes it better, et cetera. But I'm surprised how well M2 comps are holding, considering that they're not that rare, that they're not like this car, which was like a really, really unusual rare car. And I think that I have a suspicion that will hold. Not for regular M2s, and that's the funny thing. There's a gap that I think will continue to widen.
Not for tip M2s.
Not tips.
No, not tips.
Only the manual.
But the fact that you can get one of those for 29 is also pretty cool. Or that's a cool car.
40 grand M2 comp with an automatic, which is also notable.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Man, also the current M2 is just big.
Let's move on to our final market report, which is Bentley related. Pull it up, Kenan.
We recently sold a Bentley Mulsanne on the site, which is one of my all-time favorite luxury sedans. It is so stately and just impressive. And this one sold with 31,600 miles for $79,500, which to me, it's still a lot of money, but that feels like a ton of value considering this was a really
especially go back to that page you were just on. It's especially good numbers when you think about when we first were like 2 years ago we had one bid to 112, which was a 17. Like the numbers are coming down. Now I will say I agree with you that it's good value for the money. However, this car has not depreciated like the others. Like an Arnage is a 20 car. Yep. Yes. Mulsanne, the market actually is like, we're not going to let this fall.
Well, I think that's because this hasn't aged. Like the Arnage looks old, and it looked old in 2010.
It looked old in 2003. I remember it. I was there. I remember thinking
that was the appeal at the time.
That was part of the appeal.
But now, in the secondary market,
aside from its steering wheel, which again is the worst steering wheel ever fitted to a luxury car, dude, I would drive this car all day long.
Oh man, absolutely.
Imagine the flexing on Filippo you could do with this.
Yep.
And his little buzzy 500.
Right.
Yep. True. Truly two completely different spectrums of the automotive world there.
I love these
picnic tables. Yep.
These are so cool.
When I was having a bad day, maybe I shouldn't say this, but when I was having a bad day at the exotic car dealership I worked at, I would always go find a Bentley and close the door and I would work in the back of a Mulsanne. Because it's just so nice back there.
Let me tell you something. The difference between a Mulsanne and a Flying Spur, if those of you want to know at home.
60 grand.
The difference is this.
The difference between rich and wealthy.
That's so true. The difference is this. When I see a Flying Spur on the road, I'm like, oh. When I see a Mulsanne, I speed up, get the camera out, take a picture. That's the difference between those two cars. As the passenger, I should say.
My oral surgeon who did my wisdom teeth daily driver was a
You're
Mulsanne.
kidding. What?
Yeah, a white
man.
Mulsanne.
Ohio.
Yeah.
Ohio's Mulsanne's worth more than his house. White Mulsanne, the color of teeth.
No, I actually know where he lives. It was not worth more than his house.
The color of teeth. He got a white one because he wanted to remember what got him there in the first place.
Super nice guy.
Humble.
Really into cars, but yeah.
Are you ready for your next cool car? Sell your enthusiast car on Cars and Bids. Trading in your car to dealers means you aren't getting the market value for your car, leaving you with less cash for your next fun car. Just look at our recent sales of these cool cars compared to trade-in values. This was a trade-in offer, and this was the Cars and Bids result. This is a trade-in offer, and this is the Cars and Bids result. This was a trade-in offer, and this was the Cars and Bids result. Get started now and sell your car on carsandbids.com and join the best community to sell your enthusiast car.